order the regular meeting of the Painesville City Board of Education for January 14th. Mrs. Sinek, would you call the roll, please?
Dr. James Humphreys. Present. Ms. Parzolni.
Yes.
Ms. Remington.
Oh, sorry, here.
Present. Mr. Tackett.
Here.
Mr. Webster.
Present.
And we already did the Pledge of Allegiance. So we need a motion to adopt this evening's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Dr. James Humphreys.
Yes.
Ms. Remington.
Yes.
Mr. Tackett.
Yes.
Mr. Webster.
Yes.
Ms. Parzolni.
Yes. We need a motion to approve the minutes of the December 10th meeting.
So moved.
Second. Any questions or comments? Mrs. Dana?
Ms. Remington.
Yes.
Mr. Tackett.
Yes.
Mr. Webster.
Yes.
Dr. James Humphreys.
Yes.
Ms. Parzolni.
Yes. We need a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of January 8th.
So moved. Second.
Questions or comments?
Mr. Tackett.
Will you abstain?
Mr. Webster.
Yes.
Dr. James Humphreys.
Yes.
Ms. Remington.
Um,
Really should.
No.
We should abstain.
abstain.
As treasurer, do I need to abstain as well?
If you abstain, then you can.
Yeah, okay, so, all right, yes.
Yes, yes. Ms. Parzolni.
Yes. We need a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of January 10th.
Yeah, so
Second. Sorry.
Questions or comments? Mrs. Dana?
Mr. Webster.
Yes.
Dr. James Humphreys.
Abstain.
Ms. Remington.
yes.
Mr. Tackett.
Will you abstain?
Ms. Parzolni.
Yes. Hearing of the public on agenda items. Dr. James Humphreys, you have a job when you're in that seat, and it's to tell us whether or not anyone has signed in to speak at the meeting. It's ma'am.
No, ma'am, no one has signed in to speak.
Okay, Dr. Engelhardt, additional question, please.
Okay, so first, for those of you who joined us since the conclusion of the organizational meeting, we do have new members of the board. Dr. Shrine James Humphreys has been appointed, so we welcome her. We look forward to working with her, moving the district forward. January is designated as Board Appreciation Month. And this job, I've not served on Board of Education myself, but I get the sense that it can be somewhat thankless at times, although it has its own rewards. And I think that, oftentimes you do a lot of work that's behind the scenes, and maybe you don't necessarily have people recognizing that work. So it's nice to pause and take a moment to thank her for all that she put into this very important role. in leading the district and representing it. So we'd like to offer a small token of thanks. What you have is a small hand warmer, handmade by students at Youth Like Me on the Square, which is a vocational program that our kids are part of. And so please enjoy and accept that with our sincere gratitude for the work that you do as board members.
Thank you.
And we do have another couple of very positive presentations tonight. We do have our diplomas to award, so I'll ask Ms. Fife to say some words in our presentation.
Nurse, do you want to join me? Good evening, I'm Heidi Fife. I'm the Director of Programming here at Painesville City Schools. And I did take a few minutes to write some things down about Ernest. I've been working with him now for a little over a year in reference to trying to get his graduation and everything working towards that part of it. So I do a lot of the testing for students who should have graduated previous years, and we do some training through an online platform that we use. I also have, he has a guest here, Mrs. Deegan, who helped him too with some study skills and some parts that would, so we had her come too. So I did write something up a little bit. I just want to make sure it comes across the way I want, so I'm going to read it. It says, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. And in fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you know who you are, what you can rise from, and how you can still come out on top." Ernest, you've been working through numerous barriers over the years, and while he's been here at Painesville City Schools, but through all of this, he has never given up on his dream of a high school diploma. I'm proud of him for not giving up and continuing to move forward. I'm excited for him that having this diploma has already opened up new doors for him and his family. He is now working full-time and has options to continue his work way up in his positions. So let's celebrate with Ernest and wish him successes in his future endeavors, and good luck in everything that he does. Congratulations.
Mrs. Deegan, would you like to get a picture also?
Y'all got these cameras, I ain't out of these cameras.
We just don't have any cake for you.
So once again, congratulations. We're really, really proud of you. Thank you for your perseverance and hard work. And we also tonight have a Writer of the Week to recognize. So Ms. Camper will facilitate that.
Good evening. Nice to see everybody. I'm here to share with the audience the work of one of our high school students. Layla, will you come down, please? As you are new to our board, I decided to give you a little background about what WOW is. The PCLS Curriculum Department developed WOW, which stands for Writer of the Week, as a program to recognize the hard work and creativity of Painesville City students. In an effort to build a community of writers, the team encourages schools to display the work of the Writer of the Week and asks teachers to use the writing, and then students are selected and submitted here for recognition from the board, as well as somebody came to Lila's class and gave her a certificate, and she's here to celebrate with us tonight. So Lila's poem that she's going to share with us tonight was submitted by her classroom teacher specifically because it uses the elements of personification and vocabulary from their current unit. She has shown a true mastery of the skills she was asked to learn and recreate with her poem. So she's going to share it here with us tonight.
So it says, "A beautiful green field full of California poppies. The wind is blowing and the flower petals are closed like a baby in its blanket, dancing side to side like rocking a baby to a lullaby. Now the sun is out, the flowers wake up and begin to spread their petals. In the sun they have a beautiful orange and red tone, almost like a rainbow glowing like gold with the sunlight wine. From all the heat of the shining sun, the flowers are dry and need a drop. So their root digs deep and deep to find the sparks of water and the nutrients it needs. The flowers sleep when the shadows come and only awaken to the light.
Beautiful job.
Thank you.
Nice
Very
job.
nice.
Thank you. Right now.
Okay, and 5.1, there's a work session this Thursday, January 17th. And we do need, I will not be present, so Ms. Remington, if you would take that meeting, please. And then we will also need a treasurer pro tem, correct? Because Mrs. Samac will not be present either. Okay, thank you, Mr. Jacket.
This is at the board office, correct?
Correct, yes. So Dr. Sharonica James, that's on the second floor where the interviews were? Yes, ma'am. And Dr. Engelhardt, will you send those agenda items to Dr. James? Because they were in your update. Okay, thank you. The next regular meeting is February 11th. At that meeting, we will need to complete by then the treasurer's performance evaluation. In our contract, the date is February 15th. So I will send that out for us to complete online prior to that. Okay. And Dr. James Humphries, I will send it to you also, so you're familiar with your form, even though you're not able to complete it. And the moment we've been waiting for, item 6.1, Ms. Remington.
Oh, the
Are you ready, Dr.
legislative
Engelhardt?
report.
Yeah, but you're near her. I don't know if she's brought anything.
I brought nothing, no show and tell tonight. Last month, the General Assembly sent the following bills to the governor, now the past governor, for his signature. House Bill 66 requires public schools within 2 hours of the start of day to notify parents of a student who fails to arrive at school and is not excused from attendance. And House Bill 477 provides civil immunity to public districts and schools and their employees for injury, death, or other loss allegedly arising from a decision not to provide or procure mental health services to a suspended or expelled student in grades pre-K through 3. Practically, public schools and schools and their employees acting within the scope of employment generally have immunity from civil liability for damages in the performance of governmental functions under the state political subdivision sovereignty immunity law. Also, paraprofessional certification specifies that those paraprofessionals that provide academic support in a core subject area and who are employed in a program supported with federal Title I funds must be properly certified as defined in continuing law, which requires additional credentials. And we've talked about this throughout the year about those credentials. And then the bill may also increase the information technology expenditures of the Ohio Department of Education to modify its website to predominantly display certain school district academic and financial performance data. Now, bills which were brought to the House, House Bill 343. This bill would have placed new restrictions and requirements for school districts wishing to challenge property valuations, and this was not approved. And Senate Bill 342, this bill would have reduced the number of election poll workers required for a precinct where electronic poll books are used. It would have revised the terms used in a ballot language to describe the levies proposed by school districts, and this could have increased the possibility for no votes on school levies, and this bill was not approved. Next month, I shall go over the educational initiatives of our new governor, Governor DeWine. He has a number of initiatives and bills he will want dealing with education. So we just got our Ohio School Board magazine today, and there was a nice article on that, and I'll highlight just some of those issues. Thank you.
Questions or comments? You did a nice job again, as usual, Ms. Farmington.
Thank you so much. Now, if I could just learn to pronounce words.
Okay, Mrs. Hagan, item 7.
Okay, I have 3 items this evening. The first one is to actually adopt the tax budget that we reviewed at the previous meeting. And then 7.2 is a list of all the donations that have been presented to the district over the past month. And the last one is to officially increase minimum wage to $8.55. That's the state minimum wage.
Okay, we do need a motion here.
So moved.
Second,
Are there questions or comments?
how much does the minimum wage, how much is it going up, and does that match the statewide minimum?
Yes, so that is the statewide, it's $8.55.
Is the minimum wage?
Is minimum wage.
Yes.
$8.55.
I thought it was more than that for some reason.
No, it's like $12 out in California, but like here in Ohio, it's $8.
But aren't they proposing 15 for Cleveland?
They are. 15 is one of those numbers that's been thrown around in many states for minimum wage.
Cleveland is bumping up above that. As Mr. Webster was, oh, that's the city?
Yeah.
I think the city's been
Not the
proposing
city, but-
15. So the minimum wage is $8.55,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
No,
Mrs. Seaman?
Okay. Dr. James Humphreys,
Yes.
Ms. Remington,
Yes.
Mr. Tackett,
Yes.
Mr. Webster,
yes.
Ms. Powers-Dolny.
Yes. And item 8 is yours also.
Okay. Okay, number 8 is the reports for the month of December. I kind of wrote to you guys that they definitely look much different than in the past. We are completely 100% on our new system, so the reports generated are, they say the same stuff, but they just look much different. So they, and they still need some tweaking, so we're working on trying to make them a little more eye-pleasing, but it's a work in progress. We're learning how to basically write reports, and it was kind of taking us back, but we're getting there, and LGCA is helping us kind of get them to be more like they were before. But all the information is there, and it's going. We're doing okay.
It just, the cash summary report that's sideways?
Yeah.
Does it have, other than, turning the computer on? Is that how it prints out, or is it just a matter of rotating it?
So I can print it portrait as a landscape, but then it won't be
Does
right.
it go over? Okay, all right.
But
I understand.
but the first column where it lists the fund is like this big. So
Right.
we have to go in there and we have to tweak each column and so it's like the information's there. We have to then find the time to make it pretty, as I say.
Okay.
So we're getting there. But yes, I
But
agree.
if you try and print it in landscape, it messes up all the columns, or?
So I have to print landscape so it all fits. If I print it like portrait, then it's overlapping in my totals, like say it's like 16 million, blah, 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 blah. It will be like on 2 to 3 lines, and then you can't read the numbers.
You're printing it to a PDF writer,
I can print it to a PDF, or I can just print it outright to a printer.
or was this like scanned back in and then renamed and all that?
Yes. So I would have printed the report out and then scanned it, so then I could attach it to an email. Yes. So like, I know like on the one that I sent, the funds were like almost falling off the page. So we went in and we like centered that column. And so now you can read the funds, but the column's still too wide. So if I shrink that column, can I then flip it to a portrait? So it's all that stuff. And so it's finding the time to make it, but the numbers are good. Just trust me.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, well, it's all right, I drew it. I need to read sideways.
Okay, none of that needs a motion.
Yeah.
So we're on to item 9, the superintendent's consent agenda, and we do need a motion here.
So move.
Second.
Okay, Dr. Engelhardt?
Okay. 9.1, we have a resolution regarding settlement with the Painesville City Teachers Association in the arbitration case. 9.2, we have approval of our membership with OSBA. 9.3, we have a renewal with Blackboard Connect. 9.4, we have a memorandum of understanding with regard to conducting background checks at the board office. 9.5, we have an overnight field trip. 9.6, we have a contract with CVS Health Inc. 9.7, we have an agreement with READ. 9.8, we have an agreement with Loudonville and Perrysville. 9.9, we have our CCP agreement with Kent State for 1920. And 9.10, we have an agreement with Dynamics LLC.
Okay, questions and comments, and/or comments?
I have a question about the CVS Health.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
confusing to me.
So what that is, and Chris can fill in any gaps, but what they're going to do is they're going to set up a work lab here at the school. This is vocational training for our special education department. So what that's going to allow us to do is they're going to train on vocational tasks in the lab, then they'll be able to actually go out to CVS and perform that same kind of work.
And that will be a paid thing for them, or experience?
It's experience and vocational training, although their goal is to then transition students into the workforce.
Okay, but they could put that on a resume?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And they've partnered with about 15 other districts in Ohio, not in this area. I think Brunswick is the nearest one.
Would each student get a minimum number of hours that they have to complete?
I don't know that. I mean, they have a set training schedule.
Okay.
And they want to look at opportunities first at the high school and then at the CVS stores here. And we also have a training site at one of their headquarters, like in Independence or something, that they've taken students on an
Okay.
internship, so.
All right.
CBS has a strong commitment into working with students with disabilities.
Okay.
So they provide all the.
So this is kind of like a
material.
shop in the city and Unique Like Me, only the
The training is in a health field?
is in the health field.
Well, it could also
And they'll
be-
be able to go into CBS and actually practice the skills.
It could be stocking, inventory,
Right.
register.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more retail skills than it is health skills.
Yes.
Right, that's
Working
that's
on
what confused me.
being part of it.
Okay, thank you.
Good opportunity for our kids.
Okay, Dr. Engelhardt, you pronounce, is this Dynamics you said?
Yes,
And that's the group that you met with about analyzing our scores for
Yeah.
student improvement?
yeah, so that is, it's really advanced data analysis. But what they're going to do for us is they, not only are they going to provide us with some analysis tools and processes, but they're also going to coach us on the use of that. So the model is to build our capacity with those higher level kind of analysis tools. And specifically, it's around report card. This is the kind of analysis that I haven't gotten as deep into in the past. But given that we have to, we really have to dissect that report card and understand it and be able to make projections throughout the year to monitor our performance toward those indicators. I believe strongly that it's training and support that we need.
So this would be training that we would then implement next year?
No, it's
Or would it be-
it's going to be implemented now in
Okay.
ASAP.
Okay.
Among the core leadership team is really who we're doing the.
So will they be doing professional development with staff?
With leadership staff.
Okay.
So 3 days, essentially $6,000 to help you learn to dig deep into this data or to really dig into the data with you.
Yeah, it's to build predictive models. It's to use, use our current benchmarking data that we have
Mhm.
that either isn't set up to make sensitive predictions on the report card,
Mhm.
or it's based on norms that really don't work for our population, that really don't make sense with our population. Maybe they're national norms, or they're sometimes, like iReady is the product we use. Their norming predictive data is based out of districts like Dublin and very dissimilar districts. So it doesn't have a whole lot of predictive power for us. So we'd be able to build models using our data that is going to be able to make us a lot better at monitoring our program. Yes.
So does Dynamics currently work with districts like ours?
Yeah, they work with a couple of big urbans. They work with Cleveland.
They had a list of them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
He's done a lot of work with, I think, Akron.
Okay.
They're really embedded there.
Campus.
Okay, my last
Okay.
question is, does anyone have anything else on Dynamics?
No?
Okay, on the resolution for the settlement for the Painesville City Teachers Association
Yeah.
arbitration. So, this was settled in favor of the agreement,
Yes.
and the coach will be receiving a year's salary, but is opting to not take over at this time,
Correct.
which I think is a good idea, because that would be, but will that coach be applying for the job next year, or guaranteed the job next
Yeah,
year?
the job will be offered immediately upon the conclusion of this year
To this guy.
to the agreement, yes.
Okay.
Can I ask, is this something we're doing because, is this required under a state law, or is this coming out of our bargaining agreement?
Now, this is, it's based on our agreement, well, it's also based in revised code.
Okay.
So that's where the disagreement was the interpretation of that code as it applies to this case. The decision is by a federal arbitrator.
Yeah, I understand the decision comes from them, but I guess what I'm wondering is going forward, how do we avoid this? Because clearly we have a situation here where we had an individual that we didn't believe was the most qualified, and we're having to pay for not doing the job so that we can keep the guy who's most qualified doing the job, and then continue going forward and have him do this job where he's not the most qualified person to do the job next year, which is gonna have a negative impact on our athletes.
Well,
Am I getting that right?
Well,
I'm not, I don't know. I have concerns about that.
As far as the avoidance, I mean, we lean heavily on our legal counsel as far as what is, you know, what we believe is defensible and what's not. In this case, it was, you know, it was clearly, it was a matter of interpretation.
Sure.
You know, our legal counsel advised us that it was worthy of challenge, and
Yeah.
you know, sometimes in an arbitration.
I guess though what I'm asking is that as we go into bargaining year after this next, we need to set ourselves up so that we're facing this challenge in the future, because this bothers me.
So to the extent that we can address questions like this in collective bargaining, that's part of the whole
Sure, I mean,
process.
the way I interpret what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is we don't want to be contractually obligated to put someone in a position when there's a better person, a better candidate available. Is that
Yes, sir.
accurate?
Thank you for clarifying.
And
I mean, I'm not asking you for a resolution, I'm just saying
Yeah.
that's kind of the direction
yeah.
that we're talking about.
Now,
We don't-
revised
We don't want
code-
to be handcuffed into saying that this
Yeah.
person gets the job because of
They're
something that
employed.
doesn't relate to the job.
Well, what made this case different from a lot of them is there was somebody involved who's not a bargaining member.
Correct.
And that's where revised code comes into play.
But Dr. Engelhardt, doesn't that sometimes happen with certified positions where people will apply and someone gets it more on the basis of seniority rather than?
Not in supplemental contracts.
No,
Supplemental
But
contracts.
in,
In our negotiated agreement, seniority does play into awarding of positions in different ways in different cases. But seniority is part of the negotiated agreement.
But seniority doesn't always mean the best.
correct.
Which is, I think, our problem, because we want what's the best for our students, whether it's athletics or music or teaching or whatever, and, you know, our hands are tied because, you know, we're not, sometimes, but I mean, you're not always going for the best qualified, you're going for the person who has been here the longest. And I think that's my frustration, I know.
From a management perspective, you want as much control over staffing as you can have,
Right,
but we do have a negotiated agreement.
right.
Right.
And we respect that, and
Yeah, absolutely. Okey-doke.
Any other questions or comments? Mrs. Hayner?
Ms. Remington?
Yes.
Mr. Tackett?
Yes.
Mr. Webster?
Yes.
Dr. James Humphries?
Honestly, I'm unsure of how to vote on these issues. I will abstain.
Okay. Ms. Marzoni?
Yes. Item 10, Dr. Engelhardt, we need a motion here.
So moved.
Second?
10.1, we have resignation and retirement. 10.2, we have employment. 10.3 is change of assignment. 10.4 are stipends. 10.5 are reimbursements for class size. 10.6 are leaves. 10.7 is setting sub-rate for bus washer. 10.8 is sub-bus washer list. 10.9 is certified substitutes. 10.10 is classified substitutes. 10.11 is tutor list. And 10.12 is supplemental pupil activity.
Could I just say something about retirement? I see Don Wheeler retired, you know, what a guy. I mean, Don Wheeler has been
An institution.
an institution at Painesville City Local Schools, whether it's been in his role as custodian or his role of the athletic boosters or whatever. You know, good for him. I'm glad to see that he is able to retire and enjoy his life. That's one person who will surely be missed.
Yes, we also have Wendy Conrad on that list, who's been in the district for a long time.
Oh, what is that?
Wendy Conrad, elementary music teacher.
Oh,
Oh,
all right.
okay.
She wasn't here when I was here,
Okay.
but
Well,
she's been here for,
Has she spent her whole career here?
I am not certain.
Oh,
She's been around since
Wendy says no.
Really? Okay.
not.
It's their second career.
that name doesn't.
Well, I apologize to
ring a
her.
bell at all.
I don't know her, but Don Wheeler has been here forever.
Okay, on the supplemental pupil activity, item 10.12. So, Mr. Coffey is doing 8th grade boys, 8th grade girls, and 7th grade girls?
He had to start the girls' season with both teams because our coach that we were bringing in for 7th grade had to get her certification done. And so we were stuck for a period of time without being able to make a commission.
I do recall us discussing that.
I agree.
Yep.
Certainly pass it on.
Girls, the junior high girls had their first game today. Didn't leave word of how they were good.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Mrs. Singer?
Mr. Tackett?
Yes.
Mr. Webster?
Yes.
Dr. James Humphries?
Yes.
Ms. Remington?
Yes.
Ms. Parzoni?
Yes. Item 11, we need a motion.
So moved. I know, it's takes forever.
Are you
Yeah.
Chromebooks
Yeah,
working?
we're all really slow.
They're
Oh, my
very,
goodness.
very slow, they're not coming up as they should be. There we go.
Is it Word docs or is it our system?
So we need a second motion?
Second to my motion.
Oh, yes, I'll second.
Okay, Dr. Engelhardt?
Item
It's not coming up for you either?
Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit too. Item 11 is professional visits taken from the general fund.
Any questions or comments?
Just curious, Ms. Young, with the Google Apps overview, excuse me, is that, like, is it focused more on new stuff or on developing better use of what we already use, or is it both,
Well,
or?
we're hoping it's for at least our department, helping us with kind of organizing and creating more ways to, right now, we have a system of kind of tracking IEP and ETR dates on an old IEP system, and we're hoping that we can look at different ways to kind of use our data and be able to pull information at kind of a level we don't have, we don't feel we have a
Sure.
good grasp
Okay.
on right now.
Just curious.
And what is noted?
That is a big recruiting fair. It's a Northeast Ohio Teacher Educator Day.
Okay. Thank you. Just was not familiar with that.
Any other questions or comments? Mrs. Hamer?
Mr. Webster,
Yes.
Dr. James Humphries,
Yes.
Ms. Remington,
Yes.
Mr. Tackett,
Yes.
Ms. Powers Dolly.
Yes. Item 12. Dr. James Humphries, no signatures up there to?
No.
None. Okay, item 13.1, recognizing positive moments and/or events. I think a positive moment is the approval of Dr. James Humphries as our board member. Well, you can expound on it, Mr. Webster. Jump right in.
You can second.
I do second it. I will tell you, I got to know Dr. James Humphries when my son had an opportunity, a summer student opportunity as a volunteer at Cleveland Clinic. And Dr. James Humphries was working in the laboratory of Dr. Greg Clement, who is now with the FDA. But they're doing some pretty amazing things, and it was really wonderful for my son to have an opportunity to be mentored by somebody who graduated from his own high school, and just incredibly powerful, and so he really enjoyed that, and
It was an honor to work with him. He's a great kid.
we're lucky to have her.
Yes,
And I know you guys think about this, so.
Well, and we did have several people interested in the position,
Yeah.
which is
We
a great
had
thing.
actually 10 apply,
Yeah.
9 interviewed. It was very nice, and a very nice group, a very impressive group, actually. I mean, it wasn't, like, I don't have anything else to do.
No.
It was, it was an impressive group.
Great community members who are all active and engaged and interested, and so it was
And I think it was very, it was wonderful to see young citizens apply. I'm a big proponent of growing leaders and having our young community members start, stepping up and making a commitment to be an important part of the community. And we saw that as well as some people in the community who have great proven track records as far as their community involvement. So I was very pleased to see that.
But of the 9 interviewees, I think 6 were Harvey grads. That are, like Dr. James Humphries, going to be wonderful, positive advocates for the schools. So they're already involved, and some of them don't have children in the schools anymore, and it was very nice to see.
I would like to say I am very honored to be sitting here and to be chosen. I do count it a privilege. We're nearing the end of the meeting. I'm still very nervous. But I'm honored to be here, and I'd like to thank you all, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
There's not a whole lot because we had a little break in there, so.
Well, the choir did participate in the Emancipation Day services over at, what was it, at Hope Baptist Church or something like that yesterday. That went well, although I was driving from Cincinnati, so I didn't see it. But,
And the choir will be participating once again in the Martin Luther King Jr. program that will be held at Morley Music Hall this coming Monday at 6 o'clock. So
that's really an outstanding program.
Yeah.
They're all
Great, a great
That's a
speaker
very
as
special
well,
program.
so.
And Dr. James Humphreys, we will make sure that you get a Chromebook soon. We were impressed that you had a name tag on it. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, but I
No,
know.
no.
Oh,
your name
No,
tag.
you had a.
Oh.
Any other questions or comments? We have a motion to adjourn?
Do the motion, the big person motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Yes.
And we have a second.
Second.
Mrs. Singer?
Dr. James Humphries,
Yes.
Ms. Remington,
Yes.
Mr. Tackett,
Yes.
Mr. Webster,
Yes.
Ms. Parzani.
Yes.
We made it through.
That way you have a motion and a second.
Your first meeting.
I didn't pass out.
No, you didn't.
And you should-
And look how wonderful your little girl is. Jeez.
I have this.
You should send it to them. That would look so good.